Welcome along, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first Chops live stream. I've been inspired by the likes of TMF, Bruce Smart, obviously 44 Teeth, to actually get on and try a bit of this live stream stuff. I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know how the technology is going to work. This could all be a complete car crash. So, car crash TV here. We're in the garage. I thought, what better place to do a stream but in the garage? So, and I've got some good stuff to sort of tell people, see what's going on, hopefully answer a few questions. There seems like a massive delay on the actual screen, so it's really quite off-putting. But I'll crack on. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Is anyone actually there? Blimey, we've got some people watching already. Roger Moore, no. Sean Connery, come on now. So, Street Triple Matt, hello. Hello everyone, Irish Knacker. Hello guys. Can you hear me okay? Audio all right? Afternoon, Zach. Andy, thanks, mate. So I thought I'm going to jump on this live stream bandwagon. Why the hell not? What is there to lose? I've really enjoyed watching these live streams, so I thought I'm going to do it on my channel. We'll see what it's like. I've got some news to tell people, so I thought rather than do a boring, update video, let's come in the garage and actually do something live. So say hi to Will. Thanks, Amy. Will do. Oh, audio's good. Okay, that's good. Excellent stuff. So, how many people? 50 people watching. Bloody hell. So this is a completely off the cuff. I thought I'd just do this 5:30. Most people will be out driving. They won't get to see it. So I thought, let's do it now in case it does all go wrong. So I've got a little list of stuff to talk about while we await. Hello, Chop. Yeah, this is new, Jake. This is new. Mark Bailey, I recognise some of these names. Do a giveaway on the Super Juke. That's not happening, Andy. I'm sorry. That is not happening. She is staying. Yo, Chops, how's it going? What's the weather? It's actually freezing cold, but no snow, thankfully. The weather in the UK is just diabolical. I've actually got a V-Strom 1000 sat over there from Suzuki, which I've got for another 2 or 3 weeks. I've been out a few times, but the weather's just diabolical now, so I've got no incentive to go out and actually ride that bike at the moment. So that's going to be staying put until this, and I think Thursday, Friday, there's going to be a load of snow. And exciting news, I'm meant to be going up to pick up a new bike for Womble on Friday. He's buying a new bike. He's finally doing it. It's something which is going to really complement the Juke. He's buying the 2017 Tuono Factory, which some people will say is the bike I should have bought. So he's buying that. We're picking it up Friday. It's actually Mr. Faffington's bike. So if you know Mr. Faffington, we're picking his bike up. So there's going to be some great videos this year with him on the Tuono, me on the Juke. So exciting stuff. So that's happening Friday. We're picking that up if we're not snowed in. Who knows? We may well be. So giveaway, Mark. Giveaway, yes, mate. How's the diet going? I've actually lost a bit. I've lost about 1.5 stone now. So I've been quite pleased with myself. I've been invited to Italy. I've been invited by Moto Guzzi to attend the launch of the new V7 bikes, the anniversary models, the 50-year anniversary models. So I'm off to Italy on the 12th and 13th of March. So I've been a last crack at the diet just to try and lose a few more pounds before I'm put in front of the camera looking like a fat bloater riding bike. So that spurred me on just to push that a little bit more. Is it true the MT10 is the best bang for your buck? It's a tough one. I think it probably is. Yes, if you want a super naked, I think it probably is. What's we got here? Kenny Stewart, thanks Kenny. Pick up your beast on Friday. What, the Super Duke? And it's all my fault. I can't be held responsible for KTM making exceptional motorcycles. Been watching a lot of your, hello Eddie, been watching a lot of your vids. Brought a 66 plate Duke. Well done that man. It's very good. Highly recommend the Rottweiler airbox kit for it. Alex, Translogic quick shifters, are they worth the money? I've tried a lot of different quick shifters. I've had the Heel Tech, I've had the HM. They all work. They're all great. The Translogic is a step above those others. With those others, they're like a default quick shifter. You have to then go through the setup and get it working for your bike. With the Translogic, they've bought one of your bikes, they've fitted their kit on it, they've done all that development work, they set up the kilt on, they've got that whole system working for your bike. So you buy it, you fit it, and you ride it. and it works really, really well. So I will always recommend the Translogics. It's the best one I've tested so far. Absolutely. Irish Knacker. The MT10 seat is dreadful. Am I Fagan's dad? Oh, this one keeps coming up. I'm not answering that. I could be. We'll leave that one a secret. What's for tea tonight, Mr. Chops? I don't know. Probably something from Weight Watchers at the moment. I bought a Super Duke GT after your France adventure. You did the right thing. I don't know if anyone saw, KTM were actually in the UK anyway. KTM was selling the Super Dukes off brand spanking new for 10,999, just under 11 grand over winter. I was actually tempted to sell this and get a GT for 11 grand. That's an incredible bargain for 11 grand. Even at the standard price, the GT is amazing. The trip I've just come back to with performance bikes from the 2K, we obviously had the Multistrada, the new 1260, and the XR, and I'd probably still take the GT over either of those, to be honest. Dean, would I recommend the 701? Absolutely. It's a fantastic bike, 701. I do miss mine. Womble's still got his, so I do get to play on his sometimes, but it's a great bike, 701. I love a Supermoto, but I really, really like the Enduro 500. So I think if I were to go down that whole Supermoto route again, I'd be very tempted to go for the Enduro 500, KTM of course, and get some Supermoto wheels for it, because I just think it's much more versatile than to go off-road. Everyone says, oh, take your 701 off-road. It's way too heavy. It's way too heavy for that. So I think I'd go Enduro next time if I was buying that sort of bike. Andy Manco, we got there. Why do you not like Honda? I don't like Hondas. Well, I don't like Hondas. What's this? This is a Fireblade right here. Like, you cannot say I don't like Hondas. I have my own Fireblade. I was disappointed, I think, with what they did with the new blade. I just think they were a little bit lazy. They tried to pass it off the whole new bike when it was really just a revamp, in my opinion. But controversial. Everyone said, wait for the TT. We'll show you how good the blade is. Say no more. How do you find the wind turbulence on the Super Duke? I think it's fine. I think it's fine, Moto Ho. I think it's absolutely fine. I actually like this type of naked bike over a sports bike because you are limited to your top speed on one of these. This is what I like about it. This is one of the reasons I wanted to go naked, was you can only do just over 100. You can only cruise at like 80, so you're blat up to naughty speeds, but then you can't sustain it, so you have to drop back. So I think the nakeds are the way forward, and I don't mind. You can't really cruise at over 80, 85 is maximum cruising speed, to be perfectly honest. But more news is when Womble gets his Toronto, we're going to do a Spanish tour on these. To finish this off, as part of all the mods which has been going on, we're going to go a tour of Spain. So probably down on the ferry to Santander or Bilbao, and then work our way back up, maybe northern Italy, Austria on the naked. So we'll see how we get on with that, on that sort of tour with the wind blast. Maybe I'll try and get myself a little screen for that trip. We'll see. Hi, Assassin. Hi, mate. Exactly why I'm getting rid of sports bikes. Yeah, it's exactly right. Keep your license, go naked. Absolutely. Have to get that put on a t-shirt. I have a 1999 Fireblade. Yeah, they're great bikes. The early carb blades are really good bikes, and they're reasonable. I'm actually tempted to buy one and turn it into a track bike if I had the room. I really would. Doing 110 on naked burns calories. True, Andy. Do you rate the Bandit 1200? Yeah, great bike. I've actually never ridden one. Believe it or not, I've never ridden the Bandit 1200, but I've heard very good things, and for the money of them, you can't go wrong at all. What's this? Pico. Pico's mid-May. Come on, Chop, see you there. Pico's? Where's Pico's? You and 44 teeth. Yeah. Will you buy a new 701? Never say never. Never say never. I might buy a new 701. I don't know. Where's Womble? Yeah, he's at home. Probably watching this. Taking the Duke to Odium from Cornish Pasty. Odium do like an airfield riding day, and it's at the end of April, I think, the next one. And I was going to take the Duke to that, but this Spanish trip I'm talking about will happen early May, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm taking that to Odium yet. I don't know. Perhaps. Oh, Pico Mountains in Spain. Oh yeah, Jason. Well, if we go through Spain, I'll let everyone know, and perhaps we can do a little meet up European meet-up, you can show us some of the decent roads around there, because I've heard amazing things about the roads in Spain, but never been. ZZR 1400 touring. No, I've not ridden. No, I've not ridden. I've ridden the old ZZR 1200 many years ago, but not the Kawasaki. Have not been talking to me yet, so I haven't been able to ride any of their new bikes. I've been down to Bournemouth Kawasaki and ridden the ZX10 a few years ago, but that was just as like a sneaky test ride. I didn't tell them it was going on YouTube. But I'll have to speak to Kawasaki. Good news, Ducati are now going to lend me some bikes. So when the weather warms up, they say I'm going to go up to their main fleet offices, borrow some bikes, just do some initial first rides, and then take something away with me for a couple of weeks. Probably won't be the V4, not yet. I'm thinking maybe the Hypermotard SP. So that's another bike I really love. So I think I'm going to borrow that for a couple of weeks and give it a good test, see what it's really like, and hopefully it's no better than that. Do enjoy a good old brap. Two rights out, don't we all? Snow riding tips, yeah. Don't go. Stay indoors. Don't be silly. Well, there's a boy born who can swim faster than a shark. Oh dear, Matt. Oh dear, oh dear. The D500, Chili Biker, yeah, D500, that's another one I really want to try. I've heard such good things about it. Womble's done it, the D500, and he doesn't shut up about it. So I'm thinking on this trip up from Spain, maybe incorporate a bit of the D500 as well. It's meant to be good. I've heard great things about it. Yeah, definitely want to do that one. I should do another garage build series. Yeah, it's the room's the problem. There's no room left in here. How do I like the V-Strom? It's very nice. It's very nice. It's obviously not in the same class as the Super Tourers, but if you want a bike to really crunch some miles, it's a very nice bike. It's a very nice bike. There will be a full review coming of that, obviously, but yeah, it's not a Super Tourer by any means. It's a comfortable mile muncher, but it's a nice bike. The Tiny will look so much better in the background. Womble. Yeah. Well, yours might be here, so bugger off. Still my favourite line. Okay, shit cakes. The old shit cakes. Thanks, Jason. I'm sure the Hyper will provide some good content. Yeah. Thanks, Sam. I love the Hypermotard, so I'm really looking forward. I did test ride one once, but it's really hard to get on Ducatis. I've really struggled to get on Ducatis. And last year, Ducati said, no, sorry, we can't talk to you. We haven't got enough bikes. So I thought I'd try again this year after the performance bikes thing and stuff. And they were like, yeah, what do you want to borrow? Ooh, very nice. V4, please. Any more enduro riding, Bandy? Yeah, I was planning to borrow another enduro bike over the winter as it happens, but it never got round to it. I do still want to borrow the 300 TPI, either the Husky version or the KTM version, so that will happen, but we'll see what happens now with the weather. There's so much other stuff I want to borrow at the moment. That may wait until next winter. I'll see how we get on. You should get a 300 two-stroke. Yeah, absolutely. If I was as I say, rather than 701, I would definitely go enduro. I think next time, two-stroke or four-stroke, don't know, but that's something I'd like to try. Ducati Hypermotard is riddled with problems. Yeah, it depends who you speak to. One of those guys. Some people say they've had problems. Some people say they haven't. I think there's good and bad bikes. So we'll see how I get on with it. Why does everyone get overexcited about overpriced Italian rubbish? True. You may bear me up my arse and get my license. Oh, good to hear, Matthew. Thanks very much. Thank you very much indeed. Can you say sausages just for fun? Sausages. So yes, other news. Well, we'll come back to that in a second. So as I mentioned, Italy week after next. We've also got the Ducatis coming, so that'll be a couple of weeks because there's no point buying any of those when the weather's like this. Womble's new bikes. I've got a list of things here. Womble's new bike. Spoken about that. Spanish trip. I'm also going to be doing a meet-up with TMF. I don't know if any of you guys follow TMF. Also Bruce Smart and Teapot One. We're going to have a meet-up with those guys at some point early on in the year. Probably a separate meet-up to start with. I've spoken with TMF about maybe doing a sports bike swap. So he has a go on Beastie, and I borrow his Panigale 899. We do a bit of a bike swap, so that could be interesting, and obviously do a vlog of it as well. Teach him how to do a few wheelies. Bruce, again, meeting up with Bruce Smart. If you haven't watched any of Bruce Smart's stuff, he's the guy that went around the world on the GSX-R 1000. His editing's brilliant. He's a really, really nice guy. I met him at the MCN show last weekend. We're going to meet up and do something. He's recommended in my channel list, so if you haven't heard of him, go and click on him, have a look at him. He's got some great content, really worth looking at. Juke build update. Yeah, little update on the Juke. I'm not finished with this yet. I'm still waiting on the carbon wheels arriving. The Dimag carbon wheels are on their way, but there was a 2-month sort of production delay on those, so I'm waiting for those. I've got loads of carbon bits to go on. I've also been sent, if I can find it in here, I've also been sent by Rottweiler Performance, my new favourite people, their new steering damper kit. They do adjustable steering damper kit for this, so that's got to go on. But that does away with the stock damper. It's also got some high-speed dampening on it as well, so that's going to go on. So there's a lot more to happen to the Duke yet. Okay, let's go back here now. Am I still live? We have some questions disappeared. I seem to have lost my questions. No, okay. Can anyone still hear me still? Can someone try and say something? It's probably Alistair's got in and he's buggering up the internet, downloading stuff, uploading his latest video. Okay, I'll plough on. I'll plough on. I've also got. I've just followed TMF's lead, and I've done my own Teespring store. So I thought I'd do a little bit of merchandise. So jumping on the band. I've never really pushed anything like this before. I've never really done much of it before. But if you look on the top of my page, there's a little link to Teespring store. There's a couple of guys bought some hoodies and t-shirts already. I've ordered some myself, but they haven't turned up yet, so I can't even share anything at the moment. But yeah, have a look at the merch. Push the merch. How was your new lid on the French trip? Okay, we've got some questions back. Great stuff. The new lid is really nice. I've got it just here actually. This is the X8 Carbon. It's very, very nice. 2 small stroke medium problems with it. The visor does steam in cold, wet conditions. You have to leave it open, and when you leave it open, you have to leave it open quite a long way because the latch doesn't do a little bit open, which is a little bit annoying. Also, the chin strap really isn't very good, and I've already had to glue it a little bit. But it's not too noisy. A lot of people ask me how noisy it is. It's not too noisy. It's really, really comfortable. It's also quite a good vlogging helmet because you've got a lot of room in the mouth area, so your audio is pretty clear on it. But it's just, I wish you could get a pin lock for it. I may have a play around with some of the anti-fogging sprays and stuff, but if you can get around the fogging, or we'll use it just as a summer helmet, but in the wet, cold, it's a bit steamy. It's a little bit steamy. Are you able to still use the steering damper lock with the damper fitted? That is a very good question. I would say yes, because it sits in front of the steering lock, so I can't see why the steering lock still couldn't work okay. And of course, the damper has some high-speed dampening. If you buy the Power Parts adjustable damper, you then lose your steering lock on one way because it hits the radiator. So this top-mounted Scots damper is a much better design. So yes, I believe you can still use the steering lock, but I will confirm that. Yeah, it's Kickster. Yeah, the X8 G-Man. It's a good helmet, but it's a little bit annoying with the fogging, isn't it? Hello, Chop Chop. How's it going? Looking for 2012,000 Gigster. What do I think? Yeah, that's like one of the very 2012. Yes, go for it. It's a good buy. I've only ever ridden the Gigster thousands. I've ridden the 2005. 2005. I've not ridden many Suzukis. I've really not ridden many Suzukis. I've never owned a Suzuki. I have owned one Suzuki. The RG125 Gamma was the only Suzuki I've ever owned. But yeah, they're all great. I think all the GSX-R 1000s are really good bikes. 2005 one is very, very good, and they only ever got better since then. cold enough for me. Yeah, it's pretty cold, FT Rider, isn't it? This is why I've got the car. Even the garage, which has got some heating pipes running through it, it's bloody freezing out here today. Yeah, choose that over the power. Yeah, that steering damper is much better than the power parts ones. I'll give you a full report on that, but it certainly looks like it's going to be anyway. My bro is fitting the Rosso Corsa 3 tyres to 2017. I've liked the Rosso Corsa 3 so far. I've only been out that once on them for that little blat, and it was freezing cold, but they're looking like they're going to be good. The rear one looks like new still, despite all that power. It still doesn't show any wear at all, so I'm hoping it could do a few miles. Hey Chops, just a quick one. How do you find the Dynajet quick shifter from to the Translogic? The Dynajet quick shifter seemed very good on that first ride I did. I didn't use it much. The actual gear linkage was in the wrong position, so it wasn't where I normally have it. So it wasn't ideal, but the changes I did with it were absolutely fine. I think if you've got a power command, it's a good option, definitely. The actual switch for the actual switch which goes in the shift rod is actually a Translogic switch. The Dynajet quick shifter kit used Translogic parts, so it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Look at that jizz machine. Thanks, Smile on Crack. 2017 Yamaha i6 test. Yamaha are not talking to me at the moment. I think they're coming around to the idea of lending bikes to vloggers, but I know TMF has spoken to Yamaha, and the only way us vloggers can ride these press bikes is if the companies add us to their own insurance, because we can't. That's Alistair. Oi! Shut up! So he's got his friend Chris round. Oi! Keep it down, you two! The only way you can ride them is if you're added to their insurance, and Yamaha aren't geared up to add vloggers to their own insurance at the moment. Ducati can, KTM can, Suzuki can, but they haven't quite geared up for Yamaha yet. So borrowing Yamahas is not particularly easy, and my local Yamaha dealer actually said they don't want me riding their bikes. They're going to have their own in-house guy doing their videos. So I can no longer borrow Yamahas from the dealer either, that one. Seemed crazy to me, but that's what they told me. What's the bike lift called? Berserk. It's the ABBA Skylift. A great lift. Let's have a look. Pick up my Monster 1200 on Friday. Yeah, let's hope it's not snowing, G-Man. Let's hope it's not snowing. The Monster is another bike I want to ride from Ducati when I start speaking to them. Try out the Monster range because they do look very interesting indeed. What did I think of the XR I've just spotted there? I really liked it. Being a V-twin man though, I did find it a little bit lacking in torque, obviously compared to the Multi or compared to the Super Duke, but it impressed me. I wasn't really expecting to like it very much. It's a little bit vibey through the pegs and through the bars, but it's not intrusively vibey. You can feel it all the time, but it never makes your hands numb or anything. It shouldn't be there. I don't think they should be vibes like that, but it's nice. I did like it. It wouldn't be what I'd buy. I'd go for the V-twin, but that's just a personal thing. You know, it's a great bike. It's quick. It is really quick. The next video, which is coming out, there's a good bit of blatting on the XR, and yeah, it impressed me. It was better than I thought it was going to be. Let's put it that way. Have I ridden the SV650 Twin? I'm about to borrow in a couple of weeks when that V-Strom goes back. I'm borrowing their new 650X, the new CAF Racer styled one, for a couple of weeks. So I will ride the SV650 when that comes in. So yeah, I'm interested to see what that's like. I know some of the looks on it have caused some controversy, but we'll see. Ever ridden the VTR SP1 or SP2? I love the SP1. I love the SP2. It's a bike I've never ridden. I'm actually going to be working with a garage in Crawley area called Lightning Quarter Garage. Now they deal in like specialist bikes. They've had RG500s, old Katanas, Suzukis. There's something a bit more interesting, something older, a bit more classic to get out and ride. And I'm hoping like the VTR is exactly the sort of bike they get in. So I'm going to go up and see those guys and borrow some of that. So yeah, that could be really nice. Something a bit different, a bit quirky, a classic RG500, that sort of thing. That'd be amazing. Oh, someone's Cornish pasty. Thank you very much, sir. 10 new pounds. That's really appreciated. Thank you. Chops, I'm wired because I prefer. What's this one? Irish Knacker. Chops, am I weird because I prefer the 99 650 over my 05 ZX10R? I haven't ridden the SV650 yet, so I can't comment on that. Maybe you're not mad at all. We will see. Thoughts on 790 Juke from Smile on Crack? Yeah, the prototype looked amazing. I think everyone saw the prototype 790 and thought, wow, I'm buying one of those. When you saw the pictures, and since seeing the actual real bike in the flesh, I think it looks nice. It doesn't look quite as nice as the prototype, but I think by the time you put a tail tidy on it and done some other little bits and bobs, you could get it looking as nice as the prototype. Obviously, the exhaust is not as nice, but you know, it was never going to be that exhaust from the prototype, and it was never going to be that. Maybe companies like Austin Racing will come out and do an aftermarket exhaust, which looks very much like that. But I'm very interested to ride it. I was hoping to get on the launch, but that didn't happen. But I know KTM UK have got something like 15 demonstrators coming, and I've offered to go up and help them run them in as well. So I could be going up to KTM and helping them run in some of the 790s and also some of the new Husky Biplins as well. So that could be happening. But again, it's the weather. If this snow settles down, everything's delayed. But yeah, that could be quite cool. Tail tidy will be a thing. Yeah, when I said to put a tail tidy on it, I just remembered that. It's the actual tail light is integrated into the tail, isn't it? So that could be tricky. It could be a real pain to get around that. I should have bought a drink here. Dry old mouth. I possibly work at your local Yamaha dealer. I could possibly sort out some test rides. Very kind of you, Jamie. Very kind of you. I spoke to your PR, or if we're talking the same dealer, I won't mention any names, but I spoke to your marketing manager, and she wasn't keen. She wasn't keen. Obviously, I said we can even work together. I can promote your content and say, if you want to check out your own, but didn't want to know. But I'm sure they'll do fine on their own. But Jamie, yeah, have a word, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll see what happens. I may take you up on that. Best tail tidy for the Super Duke. Yeah, I've got the Evotech tail tidy on here, and I think that is the best tail tidy. I can't spin it around and show you it, but the other ones are a bit metally and a bit scaffoldy, whereas the Evotech one is like that thick, heavy-duty molded plastic, and it's really short, really compact. I think it's pricey. I don't think you get much change out of 200 quid, but it is the best one for the Duke that I've seen. Evotech's the best. Yep, Speedster, agreed. All right, have fun with the stream. Thanks, man. Thanks, Smile on Crack. Appreciate it, buddy. Have I seen RJ on his naked? I've never met RJ. I've never seen him about. He's more up London way. I don't really go into London. I'd love to meet RJ one day, but he's a very private person, and I don't think certainly not someone who'd do meetups, that sort of thing. I think he values his privacy above anything else. So that's probably unlikely to happen. KTM should make a superbike. Yeah, agreed. They should make another RC8. I nearly bought an RC8 when that was out. I loved the RC8. I've ridden Griffiths' RC8, loved it. But they should, I think, what with their involvement in MotoGP, they've got to, haven't they? It seems crazy not to when they're in MotoGP. So I think that may come. Chops, how long have I been riding? Nelly the Elephant. I started riding when I was 16. This is something a lot of people ask me in my bike history. I was going to do a video about it, but I've ridden since I was 16, not throughout my whole life though. I did stop when the kids were younger for safety reasons, and I was sort of out of bikes for 10, 15 years maybe. But I started riding 16, your normal range of 50s, and then I had some 125s, then I got a TZR 250 when they were affordable. My friend had a KR1, I had the TZR 250. I then bought his KR1. Then I've had the KR1S. My uncle used to race. This is where I think I've got a lot of my bike passion from. My uncle used to race bikes. He had a race KR1S, all Stan Stevens tuned. I bought that off him and used it on the road for a little while. That was a fun bike on the road. And then after that, I had a ZXR 750 H1, and that was the biggest bike I had when I was younger. And that's when I sort of gave up biking for probably 10, 15 years, and then I bought got back into it again, bought the CBR 900. That was on was that G plate? So 98. That was a 98, yeah, 98 blade, and that was sort of beastie. That's when I started modding that bike. That bike isn't really here anymore because I bought a new frame when I did this. The only thing from that original 98 bike is the radiator, which is still on this. All the rest of it's gone in bits on eBay. Any track days planned this year for Elite? Yeah, I definitely want to track this. Part of the conditions of me getting these carbon fiber wheels from Dymag is I'm going to do some really interesting, hopefully interesting, comparison videos between stock wheels and carbon wheels, and track testing is part of that with my data logger I've got as well. So yes, I have to do some track days. I don't know when, don't have dates yet, but it will be happening. Been riding 4 years. Dean rides. Been riding 4 years. A2 license, now 22. About to do full test. Would like to jump on the CBR 500R to a Fireblade. Would it be suicide? Depends what Fireblade you're talking about. It wouldn't be suicide, you know. It depends what much of a sensible person you are. But I think there definitely is sense in working your way up through your bikes and not just skipping onto a massively powerful bike. I think there's a lot of skills to be learned by riding smaller bikes and working your way up. It's not to say everyone's different. It's not to say you won't get on with it, but that would be my preferred approach. Do you think carbon wheels make such a difference? I know they make a fair big difference because when I got these on the blade, when I put the OZ forged wheels on, there was a big difference between those and cast aluminium. Going to carbon is another step again. So I'll let you know, but I'm expecting it to make a considerable difference. Worst modern bike, Jason G. Oh, that's a tough one, Jason. I don't know. How big is your garage? Looks very tight. It is tight. It is Deathstalker. It is very tight in here. I got room for one more motorcycle comfortably. Well, that wouldn't even be that comfortable, but it's tight. This is a typical UK single garage environment. This is your standard. This isn't a small garage. This is your normal UK garage. Rubbish, isn't it? Absolute rubbish. You Americans, don't know how lucky you got it. Or Canadians in your case. Are you going to the TT? No, I'm not going to the TT, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I'm not going to the TT. I'd like to, but I'm not. Could you do a dB measurement? Sorry, I missed it. Could you do a dB measurement of your bikes? I'd like to do that because I'm a bit worried about putting this on track with the full Aquapovic system. I'm a bit worried it might be too loud. I've got the dB killer, but I'm still a bit worried it might be too loud. So I wouldn't mind doing a noise test if I had a noise test meter. So maybe I should get hold of one just to check it's not going to be too loud. Let's have a look. What else we got here? What else we got here? Any tips for someone looking at starting a project similar to Beastie from TW Rider? Do your research. I probably never would have even considered starting this project if it hadn't been for the internet, if it hadn't been for the wealth of information out there online. I've got no mechanical background. I'm just a tinkerer who likes to play with things. So I wouldn't have attempted that unless I had that resource available. Obviously, forums, join some forums. With the bike you want to borrow, ask questions on there. If you want to do something completely original, obviously there's nothing out there. But if you want to follow a set path and do some mods which other people have already done, tried and tested, then using the internet research, it's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. But yeah, I loved doing this bike. I loved modifying this bike. I loved the whole fabrication, just the whole thing about making this. And this is why I can't, even though I don't ride this bike very often, even though it's uncomfortable, it's not the best bike. I mean, the blade is not, the Juke is way faster than the blade, and the Juke is comfortable. This is uncomfortable. It's not as fast, but because of all the work I've done to it, that's why I don't think I could ever get rid of it, because of all the investment in time which has gone into it. But I've not finished with it yet. I'm gonna, once the Juke's done, I may start doing a few more things to that. So that isn't finished yet, but yeah. Do some research. That's the main thing if you want to start a project like that. Just do some research, make sure you're not in a, don't set yourself a timeline to get it done because it always takes longer than you think. So give yourself time to finish it. 1290 Super Duke GT or 1290 Adventure S from James Douglas. Interesting one. Depends what you want. If you want something to blast around the countryside at a high rate of knots and do a lot of distance on, the GT is fantastic. The S is a bit more comfortable, so a bit less mental and a bit more comfortable. So that's probably the best way of looking at it. They're totally different things, but the GT is more about getting from A to B as fast as possible in the most comfort. Did the Super Duke worth selling from Philip? Did the Super Duke worth selling the 7? So you mean was it worth selling the 701 to buy the Super Duke? It was. I had a Super after that trip to France on the GT. I had a Super Duke itch which had to be scratched. Is what it came down to. I couldn't sell Beastie. I had it. I even had it up for sale, but I couldn't do it. So the only other bike I could sell, because I can't afford to buy one and keep the 701, so the 701 had to go. My reasoning being, I can try a Super Duke. I don't necessarily have to keep it for very long. I can always buy another 701. What with the new 701 being better, with the new engine, more power, I thought, well, you know, I could sell mine, and if I don't like the Duke or I get fed up with the Duke, I'll get another 701, but I can get the newer one. So that's why it went. That's why it went. But at the moment, I'm loving the Super Duke, and I can't wait for the summer this year with that bike. It's awesome. What else we got? Have I had a chance to ride the Panigale V4 yet? There is, Chris. I don't know if you heard, but I'm actually speaking to Ducati now, so I will be going to borrow some Ducatis, and hopefully the V4 will be one of them. They probably won't want me taking that as the first bike, so I'll probably work through some others first, but it's definitely on the list. Tronk, have I heard of the Airbox flapper mod on the Fireblades? Can you feel the difference in power? Yeah, I've heard of the flapper mod. I don't think it really makes any difference in power. I think it's one of those emission type things to keep the noise levels down. So I don't think there's a huge power increase with getting rid of it. But it's crap on the bike you don't need, so junk it. You don't need it, junk it. Mark Holdridge, S1000R or Tuono, how do they compare? Ooh, that's a good one, that. The S1000R, I rode that a few years ago. I think it was the 2015 or 2016 version I rode. Same engine as the XR, which I rode recently. Nice. I found it a little bit clinical and a little bit boring. Just a little bit. It did everything just a little bit too well. I've got a friend, Andy, who's thinking of buying the single R. So we may have the single R, the Duke, and the Tuono in our little pack of friends this year. So I think it's a good bike, but I just, as I said, I just prefer V-twins, and I just find those straight four engines just a little bit dull. Just lacking it for that sort of naked bike. It needs some character. It needs some go. It needs some roar, and I don't think a straight four quite does it for a naked. Apart from the MT10, where it's obviously got the crossbane crank. Dutch Giant, a question about the Super Duke R from 2017. What kind of electronics do I miss on the 2016, on the 2017? That is the biggest difference between, because my bike's not even the 2016, mine's the 2014 Duke, so mine doesn't even have the IMU. I think the 2015 at least has an ABS IMU, so mine's IMU-less, and the new one, the electronics are way better. That's the only thing I miss on this. The fact that you've got your traction control and you've got your anti-wheelie tied together. So the only way you can do any reasonable wheelies on that bike is to turn it all off, which is a bit of a shame. So that's the biggest thing you're missing from the early Duke compared to the new one. The electronics package is considerably better. Right, okay. That's what else we've got. I'm going to shut this down in a minute. I've been going 40 minutes already. Unbelievable. Do I miss the TFT screen from Jason? I don't. I'm not sold on. I like TFT screens. I like the thought of TFT screens. Bikes I've borrowed with TFT screens, I'm not that much of a fan. You just can't see the rev counter properly on a TFT like you can on an old-fashioned needle. It's something I said on the video with the XR. You can't beat an analog needle whizzing around the clocks, bouncing off the red line. You just can't see it as well on a TFT. I know the new Street Triumph, that looks really nice, the display they've got on that. But the ones I've tried, the Juke one, the Multistrada one, you just can't see the rev counter. I think I prefer analog gauges, you know, but I am old school. So yeah, thanks Andy, thanks for watching mate. We definitely need to meet up Andy Mancam. If you haven't checked out Andy Mancam's channel, where have you been? Go and check out Andy Mancam, it's fantastic. We're going to meet up Andy this year, my friend, definitely. You're boring, you cheeky bugger. Right, what else we got? Hi Smokey, thanks very much for joining mate. I bet everyone's surprised to see a Chops live stream pop up in their feed, eh? Hi, mate. Oh, Alistair! Keep it down! Great live stream. Thanks, Deathstalker. Appreciate it, mate. I know you've been a subscriber and an avid supporter of my old rubbish, mate, so appreciated. Thoughts on the 2004-2005 Fireblade, some Tronic. Well, that's the same engine which is in this. This has got the 2005 Blade engine in it. It's a great engine, strong engine. The only weak point on them is the stator and the flywheel. Mine's the same, it blows stator coils. You need to get the latest stator in there. Apart from that, it's a solid bike. It's a bit heavy. They're a little bit heavy, but it's a good, reliable bike, and they're cheap now. It's a lot of bike for the money what you can get them for now. I just the state is the only thing to watch for on them. But they did a recall on them, so if someone was lucky enough to get the recall done, then I'll try and look through the paperwork to see if it's had that done. Because if not, expect to replace the stators every 5k or so. Annoying. Have I had a chance to ride an RC30 from Faster? I'd love to ride an RC30. That's what I'm hoping this Lightning Quarter garage may get an RC30 in one day. When we went to MCN, they had some RC45s up there to show the other week. And yeah, I'd love to ride one of those. Yeah, look for the stator change, mate. You can get the stators. This is what I've done on this. I've been a bit lazy. I bought a stator from eBay from China for 35 quid and banged it in, and it's been fine ever since. So it almost becomes like routine maintenance every year to check the condition of the stator. So it's not big. You need to change the flywheel and stator so they're a matching pair to fix it completely, but you can just keep buying stators and putting them on. It's easy to do. They're about 35 quid and just check them yearly. I mean, that's what I'm doing on that really. What tyres on the Super Duke? Yeah, this has got the Pirelli Rosso Corsa 3s on it now. I've done one little quick ride on them, but I will feed back on how long they last. The back's going to get eaten, we know that. Hi Chops, Dainey's gear, what did they give me? They did sort me out with some gear for my trip. I've got the, what's it called? It's the textile, the Gore-Tex, the Cyclone jacket and the matching trousers. Really, really warm. Even on that, we had about 5 degrees on that trip down to Normandy. I only had my base layers underneath. Didn't even have, just base layers underneath. Really warm. Really, really warm. So they are recommended. Test LED H4 kit from Antoni. It's funny you should mention that, Antoni, because in here we have a Cyclops LED kit for the Duke. So I will be fitting that and testing that shortly. So I'll keep you posted. See you later, Jason. Take care, buddy. Something about gearboxes there. What does it whiz by so quickly, these? Any gearbox issues experienced on the new Blade? Yeah, I only rode the new Blade for an hour. Just took it out for a test ride, and I didn't notice anything untoward with the gearbox, I have to be honest, in that ride. I think people like John McGuinness may have a different view on that. Christopher Cartwright. Hey, Andrew, I can't decide on getting TM300DN or the KTM 250 TPI. The 250 TPI, fantastic. I love that bike. I really like that bike. It all depends on if you want 4-stroke or 2-stroke with enduros. It's a tricky one. The 4-strokes, you've got a lot of maintenance. The 2-strokes, not so much maintenance, but you've got to expect to perhaps have to replace the piston and rings, every 100 to 200 hours But I think as a day-to-day running, a monthly running thing, there's not as much maintenance on the two-stroke. So I'd be tempted to go two-stroke. It is really convenient, that TPI system, with having the fuel, with having the oil in the frame, you know, not having to premix. It takes away a lot of the headaches normally associated with two-strokes, and it's very good, very good. Have I got plans to do a charity ride from Hugh? Well, I'd like to do something. I nearly was going to do this Iron Butt ride, which Bruce is doing, which is a ride, it's 1,000 miles over a weekend. It was you could do two routes, a northern route around Scotland or a southern route around the south, funny enough. But unfortunately, the dates clashed with kids' birthdays, and Mrs. Chops wasn't impressed with me when I said I'm going to be away for the weekend on their birthday. So I had to can that one. But I would like to do some sort of charity event. Absolutely, absolutely. So if you've got anything in mind, let me know, and we'll see what happens. How's the PB experiment going so far? What you expected? That's a good one. It's going really well with PB. I don't know if anyone's seen, I'm writing articles for the magazine as well. So there's stuff written in the mag by me, which is quite nice. It's sort of, it's a tricky one because it's like crossing two different formats. But I think it's working well. I mean, the 2K trip was really good. Really enjoyed that. I'm hoping we're going to do some more stuff like that with them. So yeah, fingers crossed it will keep on with the PB stuff. It's really good. It's handy for me when it comes to blagging stuff as well, because people are much willing to give up stuff if they think it's going to go in a magazine as well as on YouTube. So even though it's, you know, I'm getting paid for what I write in the magazine, a standard sort of freelance rate, if you like. But I'm getting more money, if you like, from freebies for the Duke. Why no Tuono from Chris? I love the Tuono. We're picking Womble's Tuono up Friday. I hope when I ride it, I'm not going to think, I've got to sell that. I'm going to borrow the Tuono again from Aprilia this year because they've got the RR version now, which is a lot cheaper than the factory. There used to only be £1,000 in it between the RR and the factory version, so it's like £1,000, and I get Öhlins and I get a tasty RS34 back end. It was a no-brainer. You bought the factory, but now the RR is like £3,000 cheaper this year, so the RR is now a reasonably priced option. So I'm going to borrow the RR and I'm going to test it again. I'm going to probably ride Womble's bike and we'll do a bike swap. But the only reason I didn't get a Tuono is it's just a small compact bike, and I'm not small and compact, so I just felt like a big oaf on it really. So the Super Duke just fits larger riders better, and that was the main reason why I went for that over the Tuono. Is Womble on YouTube? He has got a channel actually. Womble has got a channel, but it's rubbish. You don't want to know. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up in 3 minutes, so 50 minutes. So last few questions and I'll wrap it up. Otherwise, I'll be going all night. And if you want me to let me know. I mean, if this has been enjoyable to watch, if it's been okay, I may do a monthly one of these as like a little update because it's good fun. I really enjoy watching these live streams. So hopefully you guys are the same. Let me know what you think to it. How tall am I in centimeters? Oh, I don't know. I'm 6'2". So however big that is in centimeters, I don't know. You have to do the conversion. Have you ridden the MT10? Yes, I have ridden the MT10. Very, very nice. For the money, I nearly bought one. I really nearly bought an MT10, but the looks just don't do it for me. I just couldn't get on with the looks of it. Otherwise, I might have got. I like the MT10 SP. I think with the paint scheme changes and it looks a lot nicer, but still not quite there. I couldn't open the garage. I couldn't fall in love with it, even though it's a great bike. Thanks, Christopher. Been brilliant, Lamb. Thank you very much. More, please. Okay, great stuff. How many tea bags do I use? Is that a sexual thing? Just the one. Please, more chops. Let everyone know when it will be. Yeah, if I do this again, I'll put a proper notification up, and I'll probably do it about 8 o'clock, so it's a bit more convenient for everyone to watch it. I wanted to do this one as a one-off in case it didn't work well or there was technical problems, and have a massive build-up to it, and then it all goes down the pan. So yeah, I will definitely do this again. Frame plugs for the Super Duke. I would have frame plugs for this, but I can't because of the stand. The stand needs to go through the frame to jack the bike up, so I can't do frame plugs. Otherwise, I would have done. Yeah, okay, guys. Well, that's it, I think. So thanks for watching, everyone. I'm going to close this down. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it's been okay. I will do another, and the next video from the Latuka, I cannot say Latuka, it's terrible. Latuka trip will probably be up on Monday. And don't forget that write-up in the magazine, which comes out on the 7th. So if you want to read more, have a look at the magazine. Johnny Mack has written most of the article for the magazine. But Johnny Mack is a legend. Johnny Mack's a legend. So thanks, guys. I'll see you later on. Take care. Bye bye.